It's your boy OB back with another video. Today we're gonna be talking about the Raiders coaching staff. The Raiders hired their head coach, assistant head coach, offense coordinator, defense coordinator, and special teams coordinator. Right. So those are the main five guys that you need. Um, the main five guys that will be responsible for uh the play on the football field. Right. Head coach, assistant head coach, OCDC, special teams, right, and teams. So my grade right now isn't really that high, right? I don't have an overall grade. I'll give y'all an overall grade at the end. But as of right now, here are my I would say here are my grades per coach. And I'll go into a little bit of detail. I don't want this video to be too long. But here's my grade so far, right? So Clint Kubiak, I give him an 8.5. I know he was the marquee signing of the all season, right? But I'm not gonna give no coach a 10 out of the bat. He still got a lot to prove. And this isn't okay. This isn't a what do I think about this is a what do I think you can do for the team, right? Clint Kubiak, I feel like he can do a lot for this team, right? Because offensively we have been terrible, right? For the last however many years since Derek Carr hasn't hasn't been on the team. So this is a okay, what can you provide for this team to this team, right? I give Clint a 8.5. Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator, right? So he had to call the plays the whole season, playoffs, Super Bowl. His scheme, I took that into consideration. I love his scheme. I love a ground and pound type scheme. A previous video I done, it lets you know that he's a 50-50 type guy, meaning he runs the ball 50%, he passes the ball 50%. And he actually passes the ball off of play action than just a drop back passing game, right? So he believes in running the ball. He believes in the trenches. And as a defensive guy, I really respect that. I applaud that. I welcome that. Right. So I give Kubiak a 8.5. Right. Feel like Keith Lee. I give Kubiak a 8.5. I like the hire. All right. I would love the hire once we start winning. All right. Mike McCoy, I'm not so high on. Right. Mike McCoy, I'm not so high on. I give Mike McCoy a 4.5. He's a previous head coach. He was a head coach in San Diego when the Chargers were there back in the day. He had Philip Rivers as a QB, so he keep that in mind for future reference. I don't know if he's gonna come over and be any kind of coach. I doubt it, but just saying. Um, I don't think Mike McCoy brings much. He brings experience, right? He'll bring um coaching knowledge, how to run a training camp, how to, what I'm saying, do OTAs and all that stuff. But I think Kubiak knows how to do all that stuff. He's been in the NFL for what 10, 13 years. So he knows what to do, how to do it, what it's supposed to look like and all that good stuff, right? So I think Mike McCoy is just there to help him for things that he doesn't know. And I don't know what he doesn't know. But at the end of the day, I feel like he could have got somebody better suited, right? Uh, Fucking Bruce Arians, right? Get Bruce Arians to come out there and be a. I know he don't want to stand up because of his back, but somebody like that, somebody who's won. Mike McCoy hasn't won at the NFL level that I know of. Maybe I'm wrong on that. If I'm wrong, leave a comment and tell me I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm not really that fond of Mike McCoy hire. Um, he was a quarterback coach for Trevor Lawrence for a couple years. Trevor Lawrence threw for 4,000 yards both of those years, but just because you throw for a lot of yards don't mean you're a good quarterback and you're getting the best out of your ability. And once Liam Cohen came in, you've seen the type of quarterback that Trevor Lawrence could have been, which I still think he isn't all that. But again, going off tangent. Um, I feel like he can be good though. So and then this past year he was in Tennessee. It was brought to my attention that um once Brian Callahan was fired and he became the interim head coach, Tennessee started looking a little more competent, right? the offense, right? They had a decent defense, but the offense was lacking, right? And do I don't know if I don't know if I put that all on Callahan because Callahan brought McCoy in to be that experience, right? To let me know what I'm doing right. Callahan could have been stubborn. McCoy could have been telling him everything right to do, and he could have just been stubborn and not listening. But the proof is there, and Tennessee was terrible, right? Tennessee was terrible. Um, but it's good to have that balance of okay, 38-year-old head coach, 39-year-old head coach, and 60 some odd years old uh assistant head coach. You know what I'm saying? But moving on, Andrew Janoko. Not a fan of Andrew Janoko. Um, I remember when he was the quarterbacks coach for the Chicago Bears back in 2022 with Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields got the short end of the stick when it comes to his quarterback coach and his offense coordinator. If you go to my Twitter page, you will see that I was not a fan of either Luke Getsy or Andrew Janoko. I did not like either one of those guys. Um, and I was saying that they need the Chicago Bears, if they wanted to be successful, that they needed to fire both of them. Right? They fired both of them. Um, and then Luke Getsy came to the Raiders, and he proved that he was fucking trash. You feel me? So he proved that he was trash. Um, Janoko gets credit for what he done with Kirk. He gets credit for what he done with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, what he did for Derek Carr in New Orleans Saints, and what he did with Sam Darnold this past season. But none of those guys were rookies, right? Cousins was in his fourth year, I believe, third or fourth year, I believe. No, he had came to Minnesota, so he was like in his sixth season, right? It was like his fifth or sixth season, and then Derek Carr was a 32-year-old vet, uh, and Sam Darnold was a 30-year-old vet who had just came from Kevin O'Connell, who is a really good offensive mind himself, right? So I'm not giving Janoko all the credit there. I'm not giving him. I give him. I'm not even gonna give him a little bit of credit because again, those guys were vets. They knew what to do. They knew how it's supposed to look. Your job is to teach the guys who don't know what to do how it's supposed to be done. I don't need you telling guys who knows what's supposed to happen, reiterate to them. That's not your job. Your job, you're getting paid. You have ambitions and goals to move up in the NFL ranks, and I feel like you should do better um, with teaching the younger guys. Just my opinion. I give him a three. Right? Do I want him to succeed? Do I want him to make Fernando Mendoza the best quarterback in the league? Hell yeah. But as of right now, I don't have the faith that he would do that. I just don't. Moving on to Rob Leonard. I like Rob Leonard. I don't know what kind of defense he would run. That's why he gets a 6.5. I like Leonard because he's been with the Raiders the last 3 years. I know his attitude. I've watched his mic'd ups. I watched him, you know what I'm saying? Most of all of his interviews. I'm a real big Rob Leonard fan, right? I feel like and he's a former linebacker and linebackers coach. And I feel like most defensive coordinators, all the good defensive coordinators started as a linebackers coach, right? Kill me in the comments about AP. I feel like AP would have been all right if you just gave him a little bit of chance, right? Um, and he never was an actual defensive coordinator, so he didn't get to take those steps. Off on a tangent, but I feel like Rob Leonard has all the intangibles to be a great defensive play caller. I feel like our defense will be pretty good. Now, I just don't know I don't know the scheme, right? People saying he was with Mike McDonald, he was with Brian Flores, he was with Mike McDonald, Brian Flores, Pat Graham, right? So you don't really know what kind of defense he's gonna run, right? He was with Jim Schwartz, right? I think. Quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I'm I'm fairly certain that he's gonna be a good defensive coordinator just because he's a former linebackers coach. if now he could be sorry, but history has shown that linebackers coaches are actually pretty good, right? So yeah, moving on. Joe DeCamillis, I don't really know too much about Joe. I like to keep it authentic. I'm not gonna do a whole bunch of research and tell y'all this, that, and the third. Joe DeCamillis, I know he was in South Carolina last year. All right, I'm not gonna go to Wikipedia and say he did blah 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 blah. But going from South Carolina college the last 4 years to the NFL, the rules have changed. Like the language has changed. You can't talk to these players the same, right? Um, and I just feel like he deserves a 5 because prior to being in college, he was in the NFL and it wasn't that good before he made the transition to college, right? His last few years wasn't all that. You know what I'm saying? I think it was mid to bottom tier as far as rankings for his teams. Um, his beginning seasons they were good, but the latter part they wasn't that good, right? They was mid tier. And then in college, he was okay. He was actually better than okay. He was ranked top 20. I know I just said I wasn't gonna do all this Wikipedia stuff. I looked it up and whatever. Kill me in the comments. Um, so yeah, that's my rankings. 8.5, 4.5, 3, 6.5, 5. Right now, as you can see, I'm not that too excited about this coaching staff. They have some positional coaches that they've already hired. Um, I also don't like that unless Rob gave him the okay. I don't like that Joe Woods was retained. I don't know if that's because Clint Kubiak worked with him with the Saints. He was a defense coordinator. And he said, I want to keep you on the staff. I want the defense coordinator to pick his own guys. Would that be right? I think so. I think so. Right. But it is what it is at this point. I give the overall grade a 6 so far. You can prove me wrong. Once the draft comes, once free agency comes, and I see the guys that they got, the guys that they're gonna get, I see the vision. Then that grade might go up or it might go down. Uh, who knows? But yeah, that's my grade for the Raiders coaching staff. Right? You let me know what your grade is, and we can chop it up. We can make another video. I'll invite you on. You can talk about it. Go on TikTok, whatever you want to do. So yeah, there you go. Raiders grades, Raiders coaching grades. I'm gonna end it right there. I appreciate y'all watching all the way through. Kept this one short, under 15 minutes. So you know what it is. Be safe and stay dangerous.